I met my wife at my job. And I know that sounds pretty crazy to a lot of you, but the reality is, a lot of us that have 9 to 5 jobs, for the majority of us, that's where we spend most of our time. So it seems kind of wild to me that you might think that you won't find your partner at work. And I think, especially the older we get, it becomes harder to meet friends and to sustain those friendships. So I think it's only natural that at work we're always around someone, we're talking to people, collaborating with people. It's very natural, I think, for us to perhaps find a partner or an eventual wife like I did at work. So yeah, today I just wanted to give a little bit of my background, a little bit of history, a little bit of a story, I guess, for all you, and talk about some of the things about relationships at work. So I've been with my wife for 2 years now. I mean, we've been together 2 years. We just got married 2 months ago, so it's like a new wedding, a new, let's say, marriage. Very excited for that. It's been amazing so far. Obviously, hoping to be married with her until the day I die. But apart from all that, I just want to get into some things. So as always, I have notes here. So the first thing here is obviously, I met my wife at work, and the second note here really is most time is spent at work. So I wanted to just look up some of the stats. I talked about this a while ago in some video I made. I forget which one, about how much time. Oh, it was the video I made about staying healthy, like how much time we devote to work and how much of that time is spent perhaps doing things that don't make us very healthy, or doing things that are unhealthy for us, like not walking or having a lot of snacks in the office, because again, we spend so much time there, it's easy for us to fall into these habits. So I think the first thing I wanted to look at was this. I just pulled up, I always do these random Google searches, but it says here a significant number of people find their partners at work. A 2025 study found that 39% of workers have dated a coworker, and 43% have married someone they met at work. A survey by CNBC found that 75% of employees have had a romantic relationship with someone they work with. So if we just keep reading some of these here, workplace romance is common. Surveys indicate that a substantial percentage of individuals have experienced a romantic relationship with a colleague, with some studies showing as high as 75%. Many end in marriage. A significant portion of these workplace romances led to marriage, with 43% of those who date a colleague ultimately getting married. And again, going back to this idea, or not this idea, but the fact that so many of us spend so much time at work, it says the average number of working hours in a year is about 2,080 for a traditional 40-hour work week. So, I mean, think about during a time where you were like in high school or in college, and how much time you had to spend in those social scenarios, right? Those social settings. It's much easier to meet someone there because you're constantly surrounded by students, you're constantly surrounded by friends. There's a lot, typically in a college area, there's so many things that lend themselves towards like meeting up and hanging out, going out to eat, perhaps going out to a restaurant or a bar. You know, there's just so many things you can do. But then as soon as you enter the workplace, it's not that you might be working in an area where a lot of these things don't happen. It's just, you're spending your 9 to 5 working, and then you get home and you get tired. So during those hours that you're working, I mean, imagine like if you meet someone and there's someone that you like, and you're with them and you're planning and you're constantly collaborating with them, why wouldn't you sort of like get with them? Honestly, to be straight up. So a story about my wife and I, we met at work randomly. There was a meeting that I set up, and this meeting was one that happened right after COVID. So before COVID, we used to have these things called town halls, where every single week, not every single week, every single month, the team would get together and share sort of like stories about what we're working on. We can catch up with what everyone else was doing and just overall get a pulse for how the team was. And then shortly after COVID, that stopped. And I remember feeling like, man, this could be a great opportunity for me to sort of get this ball rolling, just get some visibility out there. If you're watching some of my older videos, you know about that promotion framework. This would be a good step. One of those opportunities that really gets that visibility out there. And I thought, man, I should be the one to set this up. So I started talking to some of the leaders and some of my other colleagues, and eventually we had this meeting set up. And I remember the day that the meeting came, it was really cool because they had breakfast set up for us and everything, and it was one of these like very early morning meetings. Meeting starts, I go up there, do my presentation, and I see in the audience, everyone is normal, like the people that I've always seen. So I do my spiel in the beginning, I introduce the whole entire event, and then I go back to my seat. And then there's another point in time where I have to get back up again and do a little bit of a conversation. And I remember just noticing this woman. I'm like, I haven't seen this person before, and I just thought, well, she's very cute, she's very pretty. And I remember at that time thinking, well, just like how so many of us, they might be walking past someone and not really thinking anything of it. They're just admiring them and saying, oh, this person's attractive. I just thought that. I thought this person's attractive, and I guess that's it. Like, I'll probably never see them again, you know? And literally 1 week later, like 1 week after that meeting, I got a message in our internal tooling system that just said, hey, I'm a new product manager on the team, and I'm looking to meet some of the engineers. Are you available? And from the picture, I couldn't really tell who it was, but I said, yeah, sure, why not? Like, I'm a very social person. Like, I feel like this is something that I can do. And why not just meet with someone on the team and get to know what PMs are doing and just show someone who is new sort of what engineers are do and maybe introduce them to some other ones. I know that she was wanting to meet more engineers and get an idea of what our department does. And lo and behold, the next day, I told her, yeah, come up the next day. She was on the 8th floor, I was on the ninth. So come up the next day and we'll hang out. And when I saw her the next day, I said, this is the same girl that I saw. This is the same girl that I saw last week that I thought I'd never see again. And I took that kind of as a sign. And I mean, we hit it off immediately. Like that first conversation we had was like an hour long and it was just like free flowing, very easy. And then I don't think I saw her again for like 3 days, like 3 days after that. And I remember sitting in a booth during the time that I was having lunch because we have like some booths in our lunch area, and I was just alone just watching YouTube. I like eating lunch alone, and I'll just like watch YouTube for a little bit and then I'll do my walk after. But in those like 15-20 minutes that I was watching YouTube, someone comes up next to me and says, hey, can I sit here? And I look up and it's her. So, I mean, honestly, from there, we consider that day booth day. I know maybe this is like maybe very personal, but it is what it is. But that's sort of the thing that kicked everything off. And I thought to myself, well, we're gonna do this, and it leads me to my next point here about, we're all adults and we should be mature. So a lot of people, they'll say they don't want to be in a relationship at work because they feel like, oh, what happens if things go bad? You know? And I just think honestly, I feel like life is too short to think that way. So there's a couple, at least here are my arguments, right? Even if, let's say you don't work with someone and you still find them and you end up marrying them, I could think to myself, well, what happens if I get divorced? Is it not worth marrying because of that? I don't think so. I think it is worth still getting married, but of course, that's just my opinion. That's just what I think. Some people are going to have their own thoughts about that. And I do think it's better to get married than not, just because you feel like something will happen poorly in the future. Okay, so people might say, "Oh, I don't want to work with someone. I don't want to get in a relationship with someone I work with because what happens if it goes bad? Then it gets weird. Then I'm gonna like ruin my whole entire work life." And I just feel like that's maybe like a little bit immature way of thinking. Like we're all adults at the end of the day. I don't think that if something bad happens, even if you go on a couple of dates, you talk to this person and you try to advance the relationship forward, it doesn't have to be like a black and white type of thing. It's not like even if it goes badly, it doesn't mean that okay, now I have to leave my job. That's it. Everything sucks. I'm out. Like just be adults about it. Just talk about it and say, hey, it didn't work out, but it doesn't mean we have to let our professional life suffer. We can still be great coworkers and still get our job done. Like there's still value in being great coworkers and still creating a lot of value for your team. Like suppose you and this person are very good at your work. You're a great duo. You get work done. You're just killing it. Anytime that you two get assigned to something, you just destroy it. Don't let what happens outside of work affect that. Like even if something bad happens outside of work, you can still be a very powerful partnership at work and still excel in that area of your life. And probably both of you will still benefit off that. You're going to be happy because you're doing well at work. And I mean, who doesn't like doing well at work? So I think all this to say, just be mature about it. If there's an opportunity there, I just think life is too short to just like skip out on opportunities because of what could happen. You know, like, I don't know. Maybe it's like risky. Maybe I'm just jumping headfirst into something, but kind of have a little bit of fun with it and just enjoy it, appreciate the opportunity, go and do what you can, but be professional about it, be an adult about it, talk about it, communicate, and just have a good time. And if you feel like it's right, you feel like you meet someone, then I think it can be amazing because now you have an easy way to see them. You see them all the time. You can have lunch with them. You can talk about work with them. That's a really cool thing too. I know some people say, "Oh, that's kind of boring. Like I'm just talking about work with my partner, and that's all we do." But I mean, if that's all, like all of us are working, so why aren't you going to talk about work? I mean, I enjoy what I do. My partner enjoys what she does, so we talk about it because it's fun. And during the time that we both worked at the same company, we were able to just understand each other, and that was really cool. And we had hour-long conversations about work. So I think at the end of the day, just for that point, just be mature. And I think one of the other points I made, and I think I made it earlier about just getting harder to meet friends. There was some stats I had put up here, or not put up, but search. Like it says here, making friends as an adult is often harder than in childhood or adolescence due to a combination of factors, including busy schedules, the shift in priorities as people settle into careers and relationships, and the need to actively seek out opportunities for connection rather than having them readily available through school or activities. So it says about increased responsibilities and shifting priorities, lack of natural environment. So just pretty much what I said in the beginning. When you're in high school, college, School in general, it's a lot easier because your environment facilitates that. And then once you get to work, it doesn't. But it doesn't have to be the end all be all. I mean, if you're the type of person that makes it a habit, or if you prioritize going out on the weekends and you know the best spots, you know where to look, then by all means, use that to your advantage. But for a lot of us, for all intents and purposes, we're comfortable with our stable schedules. We go to work, we like to come home and relax, and that's just how we live lives, including myself. So I think that if there's an opportunity, the summary of the video is if there's an opportunity, just go for it because life is short. And if you find someone that you truly get along with, explore it and just talk to them and be mature about it and see where it takes you. So if you're watching this video, if you're in a position where you're like, oh, there's this person at work, but I don't want to because whatever, just we're just getting older. I mean, people are getting older, and if you like that person, just go for it and be smart about it, but just have fun with it. And I promise you that if you do it right, you can have a lot of fun and everything will just work out. So yeah, that's really all I had to say about this one. So yeah, see you all next time. Later.